Sonic the Fighters is a great game, and it's pretty obscure compared to most other Sonic titles. Now, I have a question to you, dear viewer. So, what do you do when you have a title that hasn't gotten much attention, or isn't very popular among the said community, or is very obscure? Well, there's a very simple answer to that. You port it. And you port it again. And you should probably port it again. Sonic the Fighters has 2 ports under its belt. Originally, the Sega Saturn was supposed to get a port. However, they couldn't capture the feel as the arcade version on Saturn hardware. However, the 2 ports that we did get was for the GameCube and PS2. An Xbox port was planned, but it was scrapped. And the HD ports for PS3 and Xbox 360, which is the version most people play on now. With that being said, what is the worst version of this game? And at first, you might think it's the original arcade release emulated, because seriously, how the fuck are you gonna play online with an official cabinet? And most people don't have friends, so who are you gonna play with? Yourself? Oh wait, if the arcade version was bad, why bother porting a bad game? And one would say that HD ports were bad. The only issues that had was the horrible sound issues on online play, and online play is already pretty bad even when the game launched. So that only leaves Gems Collection left, and in this video I'm going to talk about all of its horrible flaws. Let's begin with how the game starts up. Now, the menu screen is pretty cool. You have 4 options: arcade mode, versus mode, options, and return, which returns you back to the main menu screen. However, navigating this maze of menus can be really irritating. I mean, in comparison, the HD port is much more of a straightforward interface. For example, what does automatic do? If you're wondering what it does, well, it enables automatic mode on the menu, so you have 2 options to pick from. Why is it not enabled by default? Like, why? Like, is there someone really bothered that automatic mode is on the menu? Is it because that they're like some random tough dude that cannot have automatic mode displayed on the menu? Oh, whatever. Let's just get into actually playing the game itself and see what makes this port so bad. And first off, the lighting is absolute dog shit. Now don't get me wrong, this is a console release from 2005, but for fuck's sake, the arcade mode had better lighting even when the original arcade game released, so you can't tell me that the GameCube version could not have better lighting, because it could be possible. Look at all the other Sonic games that were emulated on the GameCube, they had better lighting. And even the PS2, being a more powerful console than the GameCube, suffered the same lighting issues. Don't even get me started on the horrible audio compression that not even the other Sonic games had, even on the separate consoles. And the audio compression issue is only on the PS2, so why? And the audio just sounds a lot more deeper pitched to me for some reason. I'm not sure if it's just me or the console I'm playing on, but you know, just thought I'd point that out as well. And the lighting is way more apparent on the Canyon Cruise stage, which suffered from the lighting issues the most, because, well, just look at it. Like, what the fuck am I looking at? Right, and because of how horrible this version is, I can't even reveal it myself, because fuck, I'm not even in the game. So I'm gonna hand this over to Knuckles instead, which is the reason why I'm talking myself and not actually, fighting the shitty CPUs. Playing the game itself is mostly the same as the other versions, however, there's one major flaw: the 4 frames of input delay. Now, putting that into your mind, what happens if you pair fighting game and a delay into each other? That's what I thought. It happens with a wired controller too. It doesn't even have to be Bluetooth. The delay still happens. This is really important when it comes to Hyper, which you need your inputs to work. You want to know what happens if you mess up a Hyper input? Death. And other than that, the gameplay is mostly the same, but everything feels worse because of the added issues. And to make things worse, the PS2 version has the exact same problems as the GameCube version, which you'd think, because the PS2 version released later, at least from what I checked, you'd think they would have times to fix the issues, but no, they don't, because Sega's shitty at porting things. Now let's talk about Versus Mode. Versus Mode remains virtually the same, other than the fact that one main thing: you're able to pick the stage when you pause. Now, why isn't this in the HD ports? Like, seriously, out of all the features you're gonna put back in, why did you skip through this one? Maybe it was too difficult, but no, No, this is the one thing that people would have loved. I mean, I want to play on Aurora Icefield 24/7. Why do I not have the option to do so? I mean, the only stage you can't even play on is the Eggman bonus stage, but like, that's fair because the assets can't even load in properly, so I can give him that. And thanks to my friends Kigo and Wizard Dude, I'm actually able to show you clips because I'm not setting up a task bot. So here are some clips from the mode. With 4 frames of input delay, horrible lighting, and missing features that should have been in the game in the first place, the score that this port is absolutely horrible. Now sure, the HD port remains virtually the same, but it does have one thing: better lighting. That even the fucking GameCube and PS2 couldn't do. Fully mods like Community Edition and the HD ports have brought new life to this game, and improving it in the way that Gems Collection could never do, even though it is possible on the said hardware. But we can't thank Gems Collection for making Sonic the Fighters more accessible to a wider audience, so that's at least one thing we give it credit for.